Mercedes found something new, so we're going to be going through that and 3 other stories in today's video. So make sure to like this video, and if you want more Mercedes news content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel by hitting that red button down below. The first story is Mercedes claim they are 1 upgrade away from victory. 8-time Constructors champions Mercedes have declared that they are on the brink of victory with just 1 crucial upgrade standing between them and returning to winning's ways. The team's optimism comes after a solid performance at the Canadian Grand Prix, where Lewis Hamilton secured a respectable 3rd-place finish. The W14 has become a more predictable car after the Silver Arrows decided to redesign the car from the ground up. With consecutive podium places under their belt in 2023, a Mercedes engineer boldly proclaimed, "We are only 1 upgrade away from victory," underlining the team's confidence in their ability to close the gap to the dominant Red Bull. Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff is also optimistic about upcoming races. Prior to the Canadian Grand Prix, the CEO said, "If we get through that track well, I won't be afraid of the upcoming circuits anymore." Wolff also revealed that Mercedes have 2 upgrades to add to their car. "One major step in Silverstone, followed by a smaller one," said the Austrian. Although the specific areas where Mercedes wants to improve remain a secret, it is expected that the focus will once again be on the underbody, side pods, and engine cover, as that's where they gain lap time with their ground effect cars. Despite recently rejigging the car's shape and installing much wider side pods, Mercedes' technical director James Allison dismissed any notion that their previous side podless approach were the cause of their recent challenges. Just as the geometry of the side parts does not explain Red Bull's success, our old side pods were not the cause of our problems, affirmed Allison. Wolff further elaborated on the team's progress. "Since we changed the concept of the car, we have learned a lot," said the CEO. "The correlation between the simulation and the racetrack has improved significantly. Now we are implementing it step by step." Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff says his team feels happier with their performance than they have for a long time, thanks to their recent upgrades package. However, Mercedes currently sits 2nd in the Constructors' Championship on 167 points behind leaders Red Bull, 13 points ahead of closest rivals Aston Martin. Since introducing their first major upgrades package in Monaco, drivers Lewis Hamilton and George Russell have combined for 71 points, more than any team besides Red Bull. Wolff says the apparent success of the Mercedes upgrades is having a positive impact within the team. "I think we can see the positive dynamic literally cascading, transcending into the organization," Wolff said. "We feel that the car is coming together. We see that our data yields results on track, and we haven't felt that since a long time. That obviously contributes to this place being in a very good place." Mercedes have begun to move away from their car's core design concept after the W14 had a disappointing start to the season relative to the team's ambitions. Despite the limitations of F1's financial regulations and aerodynamic testing restrictions, Wolff says he is confident Mercedes can make major changes to their 2024 car with what they have available to them. "We have set up a huge organization in our financial department of 46 people that monitors the cost cap down to the last screw," Wolff explained. "We look at the trend of our expenditure over all of the year, and what we've done is basically allocated resources to various projects. We've stayed below that line all year last year, and we're still below that line this year. That considers a normal, let's say, development switch for next year, and this is still pretty much on track. The good thing is that we're constantly learning about what the car is doing. There's going to be some fundamental design changes for next year, but it's not that we are building stuff. It's more like what we are simulating. But that is not measured in either money nor teraflops nor wind tunnel hours." Toto Wolff says Mick Schumacher's simulator feedback is a super advantage for Mercedes in their ongoing F1 fightback. Schumacher, who took up a Mercedes reserve driver role after losing his Haas race seat at the end of 2022, has been praised by Lewis Hamilton and George Russell for the role he played in helping the team turn around their Spanish Grand Prix weekend. The son of legendary 7-time world champion Michael has been lauded by Mercedes boss Wolff, who has claimed rival F1 teams are missing out by not employing Schumacher. "It's great to have a mature, successful, and experienced Formula One driver supporting us in the sim, and with his feedback that is of tremendous advantage," Wolff said. "On some of the European Grand Prix, having him in the sim overnight and providing data for the Saturday is a super advantage for us. And Wolff is confident 24-year-old Schumacher would be a capable backup for Hamilton or Russell if one of Mercedes' regular drivers were ruled out of a race. The other side is that if one of George, Russell, or Lewis were to have fish poisoning, well, Lewis can't have fish poisoning, it would be avocado poisoning. Then we know we have a super guy that will drive the car and drive the car well, he added. And as much as I like the situation for the benefit of the team, I would prefer every day of the week that Mick sits in the cockpit and actually races. The second story is Lewis Hamilton hits obstacle with €200 million contract demand as Mercedes reject new role. Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes are a long way apart in their stances over a new contract, it has been claimed. Hamilton's current deal is due to expire at the end of the Formula One season, and discussions over a new contract have stalled. Mirror Sport understands that the seven-time champion wants to stay with the Silver Arrows, but the details are proving difficult to iron out. Mercedes chief Toto Wolff has made it clear that he also wants Hamilton to stay, and has frequently hinted that an announcement will be made soon. But that has not happened, and the Daily Mail says that there are widely contrasting views about the next contract. Hamilton's current contract is worth £27.5 million per year and also includes a £15M bonus for winning the title. The 38-year-old wants a new long-term deal, which includes the bonus as guaranteed income, because with Mercedes lagging well behind rivals Red Bull, he has little chance of beating Max Verstappen. However, Mercedes are reportedly only willing to offer Hamilton a one-year contract with the option for a second. He is already the second highest paid driver, behind Verstappen, who pulls in £43M per year with Red Bull. Meanwhile, another sticking point is Hamilton's desire to be handed a 10-year Mercedes brand ambassador role worth £20M per year. Hamilton has been with Mercedes since leaving McLaren in 2013 and has become the face of the manufacturer, but they are unwilling to agree to his demands. Speaking at the Canadian Grand Prix last weekend, Hamilton suggested he was not concerned by the deadlocked talks. "I've nothing more to say on the contract side," he said in Montreal. "If it's next week or next month, it really doesn't bother me. I've seen Toto. We have talked several times. We've got a great relationship." Wolff gave a similar answer last week. He said, "When we're still talking, we get this question basically every race weekend. We've such a good relationship that we dread the moment we need to talk about money. So it's going to happen soon." Asked about a time frame, he added, "Soon, I think we're talking more days than weeks. He's the most important personality in the sport. He's so multifaceted, not only the racing but also off track. We need to keep in the sport for as long as possible. It is going to happen soon, and we are talking more days than weeks." From a team's perspective, Lewis and Mercedes have gone back a long time. He has never raced for any other brand than Mercedes. "We both joined the team in 2013 together, and from a professional relationship, we now have a friendship. It has been a wonderful time." The third story is Mercedes' urge to use a trick to catch Red Bull. Damon Hill has claimed Mercedes should already abandon its 2023 development in order to challenge Red Bull in 2024 and beyond. The way F1 is currently structured means that the higher a team finishes in the constructors' standings, the less wind tunnel time it gets the following year, making upgrading the car a slower process. This allows the teams further down to have the chance to catch up and see the whole grid eventually become as fast as each other, hypothetically at least. Hill, the 1996 world champion, wants to see Mercedes take advantage of this rule and perform poorly on purpose to give themselves more wiggle room in 2024. Ironically, the better Mercedes do in 2023, the less scope they've got for the following year, Hill said. "You kind of wonder whether Mercedes ought to be thinking about doing really badly between now and the end of the year. I think when you've got the budget and you can spend it but you can't because you did so well the previous season, then it kind of makes you wonder whether you ought to do really badly. If you're not going to win this year, you want to win next year." Mercedes believe the Austrian Grand Prix will be one of the two upcoming tracks that will favor the new W14. After another dismal start to the season, Mercedes' form has taken a real upturn since the W14 was heavily modified for the Monaco Grand Prix. The new concept was first put properly through its paces in Spain, with both drivers finishing on the podium, while Lewis Hamilton made it 2 from 2 last time out in Canada. But Mercedes are not content solely with podiums and have desires to be able to challenge runaway leaders Red Bull. Mercedes W14 is not the finished product though, with ground still to be made top speed, DRS and traction out of low-speed corners, and the team have revealed they will bring another substantial package to the British Grand Prix. But first it is Austria, and the Red Bull Ring and Chief Technical Officer Mike Elliott believes the next two races will favor the characteristics of the Mercedes car. Having said that Canada was going to be difficult for us, it's a bit difficult to stand here and say it is hard to say because we made a prediction about Canada, he said. But I think it's always difficult to know. I think where we have seen the car struggling is more in the low-speed corners, and so we start looking at circuits that have got more medium and high-speed content. We think we will do better there. So Silverstone will be a good example of that. Austria shouldn't be too bad for us either. So let's hope we go well on both of those. Having spent over a year scratching their heads trying to get performance, the change to a new concept has proved beneficial for Mercedes, with the team instantly performing to a better standard. Elliott said the Silver Arrows were really pleased with how the data from their simulations had translated into on-track performance, and something they can build on. As you all know, we brought an upgrade a couple of races ago. We've now had a chance to see what that performs like at different circuits, the former technical director said. First of all, we are really pleased to say that it has done what we expected. It's helped the car move forward, and we are generally more competitive. We said before the weekend that Canada will be a more difficult circuit for us. It's mainly low-speed corners and straights, something that hasn't been brilliant for us in the past. So, to come out of this weekend to qualify with the cars 4th and 5th, promoted to 3rd and 4th, and then to race in a strong way, beaten by Alonso, but for Lewis to race to 3rd and in George's case to show strong performance up until his crash, I think it is a good result for us and hopefully something we can take into the next few races.